good enough. You want to be hosted? I should be host. I mean, it is your recommendation, right?
Yeah, I guess I'll be host. Hello and welcome to another SAF podcast. After a short hiatus, we are back with some of our core members. It is I, one of your co-hosts, who recurs quite constantly, Josiah Biggs, and I am here with another one of our co-hosts, Mr. Sterling Silver. Say hello.
Hey, what's up, people? How you doing? Yep, that's me.
Lively as ever. Also, we have one of our recurring guests, Mr. John Lamy, a.k.a. Kamen Rider Suitor. How are we doing, John?
All right, happy Halloween, bottoms up. Happy Leif Thornton Day, or whatever the fuck it's called.
Leif Erikson Day.
Leif Erikson Day. Well, that's another bottoms up right there. I've been drinking. And, yeah.
Amazing.
That's my commentary for today. I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.
Hydration is important.
I've been alright. And just for verification, when people hear me say suitor instead of suitor, that's the fucking Canadian way of saying it. And if Amon Amarth, the Swedish band, says it that way, I'm damn well gonna say it that way. Alright, let's get into the shit show. I'm ready.
A truly touching tale. So Sterling, now that you are much more stable and are back from rehab, you know, what have you been up to? What have you been dilly-dallying and doing all this time?
Jeez Louise, where shall I start?
At the beginning.
At the beginning, alright. Well, while I was gone, I believe I watched some movies here and there. Only like 2 anime shows, which are like ongoing because it's with the fam, and quite a lot of games for some reason. Not just the demos this time around, just the demos. Alright, movies? Now, I didn't really get to talk about it, but I did see that new Power Rangers movie, and I gotta say, it was actually tolerable. But the only thing that's like pretty much like 100% bad is the 2 mediocre fight scenes. Other than that, it's a funny little teen drama little thing. And then, like, pretty much if you took the Power Rangers out of that Power Rangers movie, it would be a little artsy fartsy teen drama about kids. But nope, they had to put in those dumb fight scenes. I'm like, oh, okay.
Don't forget the fact that they make the suits useless.
Yeah. Let's see here. Then I watched a good old family film called Rikio. I don't know, cause whatchamacallits, the Djibouti Dub Studios watched it. Like, I guess I'll watch it. First time I've ever watched it, and goodness gracias, does it ever hold up to everything that I thought it was going to be. And more. All them blood squibs and everything is just there all on screen, just in its majesty. And then on a side little thing, something that I'm a little bit working on, just like, cause I can. I rewatched the B movie to see if it holds up, and no, it doesn't.
Oh, you mean the B movie?
Yeah, the B movie.
Like the Jerry Seinfeld B movie.
Mm-hmm.
Not a B movie. I was wanting you to like give me the title. I'm like, oh, what B movie?
No. Well, I don't really want to talk about the animation quality because it's like, it's one of those DreamWorks jobs that are like, it's not Shrek, so we can just put in like the minimum amount of work in this. So like that can like, I don't really care about that, but the story in and of itself is just like, it just feels a little flat. There's like, there's some jokes here and there. John Goodman is in there, which is fun. I kind of forgot that he was that. And then, yeah, that's about it. Like, a very, very cliche theme. Yeah. But the memes are getting stronger by the day, which, okay. Doesn't deserve it, but okay. Then next to the shows, let's see here, Yawada, a little show in the 80s about a girl who wants to be just a normal, regular girl, but her grandfather, who has taught her judo since the age of, I think, 6, wants her to compete in the Olympics, which is in about 2 years' times when the show starts. And wowzers, is it ever...
That's not a lot of time.
Yeah, I know. Is it ever, like, just a continual, like... Every episode ends with, like, a timestamp of, this is how many days are left. And it's just like,
oh, it's
oh
like
my gosh.
the Suzuki Miha.
Yeah, sort
yeah.
of. And
But better, probably.
Yeah, much. Which, like, almost every episode, whether it be full of shoujo, is like the best kinds of shoujo. But then when it gets all into the judo sport and being all technical, it's like probably one of the best sports ones that I've seen, like next to Ippo and like Ping Pong, the animation. And it's just like, wow. Every little, like, even the animation in the shoujo scenes, as like, they're pretty much the same quality as the judo scenes, which is just like, wow, guys, them 80s got them deals down. But yeah, like barely like halfway through with it, because I'm watching that with the fam and everybody loves it. I'm like, hi. And then now I'm rewatching, well, not really rewatching, but I'm going through the 2011 version of Hunter x Hunter, which is a fantastic little series.
What episode on now, fam?
When it's not compared to the 1999 version, at least for right now, because I just got done with the Hunter trials. And the get Killua back from his family arc, which was actually like way faster than the 1999 version.
Yes.
It was about like 4 or 5 episodes, like, okay. Instead of like 10 or 12.
Well, you don't need to see him lifting weights in the house for like 10 episodes, I mean.
Yeah. But yeah, I can appreciate that they went faster through these episodes, like about 20 episodes on the Hunter exam instead of like 40 plus in the 1999 version, which was like, okay. But for some reason I'm not getting the same vibe I got out of it, even though I didn't really like the Hunter exams all that much. I was like, oh, I was invested in this for like, because it was taking like quite a bit of time out of my life to just get through each episode, and I was like, oh, okay. But yeah, other than that, yeah, hopefully it gets better.
It does.
Because all I'm doing right now is just rewatching like things in a faster, like in a high speed pace, which can be good at times and can be like skipful in its attempt. And then that's about it. Games, asterisks, demos that I played. Since, hey, I have the internet and everything that's free, I'll get whatever, you know. So I played The Surge. It's that little Dark Souls meets Armored Core, I believe. That's what people are talking about. Well, like they're like power suits, not really mechs, but yeah. And I played that for like maybe not even an hour, and I just like it's not that good. Like, it's from the developers that made Revenge of the Fallen or something like that, like another Dark Souls clone. And I'm pretty sure I didn't get that title right, but yeah, whatever. They don't deserve it. But yeah, it's ever since I played Neo, like nothing compares to it when they're trying to make a Dark Souls clone. So yeah, whatever. And then after that, I played Call of Duty Infinite Warfare because apparently they decided to put a demo up there just for fun. Like, okay, I'll bite the bullet. I'll play a demo here or there of Call of Duty. I played it. I played Call of Duty 2 and 1, the Modern Warfare series, for a demo, and those were actually pretty swell. So let me just get into this demo. Oh wait, it's all saturated and not fun to play, and it's like the gunplay is super boring, and it's just like, oh. And everything's doing it for you because it's Infinite Warfare, and it's like, oh, let's make everything easier. It's just very, very bland, but I will say imaginative, maybe a little bit too imaginative, because that goes down the path of, oh, just press the button and to kill a person. That's about it.
Just like you always wanted.
So yeah, that Call of Duty, where did you go wrong? And then I played the free-to-play games, Warframe. I checked that out. Basically a third-person shooter MMO with like Guyver type designs. Which, hey, I'm all into Guyver. And like super weird alien tech stuff with samurai swords and spears and all that crack. Like, I'm down for the concept, and it turns out it's just one of those very, very free-to-play games that are like, if they put, I don't know, more effort into it, they can actually make a AAA game or something about it. Other than that, it's just, it's like a bargain bin Destiny, which even then, Destiny is a bargain bin of itself, so whatever. And then I played Let It Die, which, surprisingly enough, is like pretty much the winner out of all these free-to-play demos and free-to-play stuff. Cause, like, for a Dark Souls kind of clone, with a Grasshopper and Suda 51 type deal kind of feel to it. Hey, that kind of works, you know. I'm down for a good game from them from time to time. But unfortunately, it's a good game, don't get me wrong. I just needed to delete it because I needed space. I needed space to re-download GTA 5, you know, the real games. But yeah, if I had enough space, it would still be there. But currently, nah. And then last thing for my weeks, I played the Neo Defiant Honor DLC. Every time I think it can't get better, it gets better every single time. There's just like, oh, you mean that thing you never thought of before? Oh, we thought about it before you thought about it. Here you go. Get me that into my blood, Neo. And
it takes too long to absorb it normally. Gotta jack in.
And yeah, man, I don't know. I think this is like maybe the last DLC. I think because
racism.
Because how Neo ends, it ends with like, oh, there's gonna be another war, and it shows like the two like main characters from the two different DLCs. Like that's all it showed. Like maybe these are like the last two DLCs. So if that's true, then I'm fine with that, because like everything that they've been throwing at me, I've been like underestimating their prowess and how they could like overthrow my thoughts. So yeah, that pretty much ends up being my whole time away from this podcast, listeners. How about you, Josiah? What's up with you and your weeks, huh?
What have I been doing?
Yeah.
I have been playing the new Heist and CEO gameplays on GTA 5. I have been legally selling illegal weapons with my bunker. And making 3 times as much money in the last 6 months, or actually been about 4 months, in-game money, than I have in the entirety of the previous game life before that point.
Wow.
So, yes, it really did bring the game, because it was getting really stale. It was very hard to make the cash to get what you wanted, and it just, felt very stale, and not like you kind of lost your reason to be on there, because races weren't fun anymore. Terrible modders, and so they did have that little bit of sweep where they cleaned out a whole bunch of the modders. Got a little bit of trouble because they accidentally banned a whole bunch of people who were victims of being modded as well. But that wasn't Rockstar. That was the other parent company. What was it, 2B Games or Two Hands or 3 Hands? I forget who it is who also has their hands in the game.
Yeah.
And they're the ones who did that, and so everything's been restored for about 2 months now. It happened about June was the big ban scare, and everybody got reinstated who was supposed to. So everything's kosher and fun to play again, and it's just really nice to play online with friends and just go do stuff. And there's a whole bunch. They released a whole bunch of new military vehicles and a whole bunch of new stuff, and you can now upgrade your guns to make it easy peasy lemon squeezy to kill people. And it's just a lot more fun. Also, you can have businesses now. I just permanently registered my business the other day. I finally found a name that I liked, and so I am the owner of Milkmen for Hire. And so that's the name I go under. I have a small tank that also can go into the water. It's an APC.
Yeah.
And it's really fun to just go around and grief people with that. Also, you can get what's called a mobile command operations center, which is a giant semi that you pull behind, and it's the semi itself. The cargo is indestructible, because it's basically like a house.
Yeah.
But the trailer in front isn't indestructible, but you can heavily armor it, which I have. And it's got a Gauss turret on there. that pretty much destroys anything, and you can launch any sort of vehicle out the back of it, or also edit vehicles and also modify your weapons as well. So it's basically just a mobile attack center that you can go around if you get 3 or 4 friends, just grief people constantly in a lobby, which is pretty fun. Especially if someone does destroy the truck driving the trailer, you can respawn it in like about 30 seconds, so it doesn't really matter. So that's what I've been doing game-wise. Nothing else on that front, really. I'm looking forward to that new Pokemon Sun and Moon. It's the newer versions. I've been kind of just like not trying to get too hyped for it and kind of staying away from all like the previews.
Yeah.
Just so when I get it, I'll actually be surprised and be like, oh, that's innovative, or oh, I definitely didn't know this was going to happen, or you know, like a good movie that you want to go see. You're not going to watch the previews all the time. But I mean, that's about all that I have on the gaming front. The anime front, I'm slowly walking through Urusei Yatsura.
Sounds
the famous anime. Actually, I mean, it was the biggest anime of its time at that point. That is almost 90% filler that became to be one of the late greats. You never heard about this, Sterling?
I might have if you say the actual American name.
Annoying Aliens.
Oh, no.
Although that's not really a direct translation. The best that's the one you see in the forums all the time. But Urusei Yatsura is also made by the lady who wrote Ranma 1/2 and Inuyasha and what's the other one? Gosh, there's another big one I'm forgetting. Oh well, I'll remember it some other time. And but no, this is the first one, and so basically it was about this boy named Wataru, and he has terrible luck, very lecherous, scum of the earth, and yet and he was always having bad luck and always trying to win over some other girl or this or that, you know. And so the entire like 150 episodes of Urusei Yatsura are based off of one chapter. Actually, it's like 2 or 3 chapters in the manga on one of the girls that he encounters, and builds that into a full feature story. That actually works quite well, and is what To Love Ru is loosely based on. And it just does a terrible job, and it's just useless fan service in the end. But no, Urusei Yatsura, like I said, it's one of the late. I think it's late. It's early '80s, and so it's got some of the best.
No, duh. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
I was about to say, there's no way you haven't heard.
Yeah.
With Lum, the invader.
Yeah. You should have just said Lum. Yeah.
Well, I was getting there. And so basically, the beginning of it starts out in which planet Earth is invaded by the invaders. And they have to, randomly selected citizen of Earth has to defeat one of the invaders in a challenge. That randomly selected person, of course, is our bad luck charm, Wataru. And the person he has to defeat is the daughter of the head or king or whatever of the invaders, Lum.
Yep.
And so he has to catch her in, I think, a week's time, or maybe a month. I can't remember. I started this back a while back, and so it's been a little bit. But it's a small amount of time to try and catch her, and so they start every day. They restart every single day in the morning at the same starting point. And he has from sun start to sunset to try and catch her. And so what he doesn't understand though, starting out, is that that she's an alien, and that gravity is much denser on their planet, so much that they can basically fly, kind of like Superman.
Yeah.
And so he tries every plot in the book. People are cheering for him, trying to get him to do it. And so, of course, being our main protagonist, Watru comes up with the best idea in the world to catch a 13, 14, maybe 15-year-old girl, is to get a suction cup gun with a string attached to it, shoot her upper body garment, which she basically just walks around in a bikini.
Yeah.
Because it's the 80s, and she's an alien.
Yep.
And shoot the top part of her bikini and rip it off with such suction cup, in which she becomes embarrassed, lands, covers herself, and that is when Watru grabs her horns. She has horns, little tiny horns on top of her head, like an oni, a Japanese oni. And so he grabs those horns. I don't know I can't remember if he had to do that or not. I don't think he did. I think he just grabbed something convenient, and those were the horns. And unfortunately, on her planet, that is a super serious marriage proposal. And so he becomes unintentionally engaged to the alien race that just tried to invade Earth.
Yep.
And that's the setup of our story. And they're freshmen in high school, and so shonen harem, sort of harem, sort of not harem. Very much a lot of different themes in play, and you go on a wacky kooky adventure, much like Rama 1/2. Not a lot like Inuyasha because it was terrible. And it's like I said, it was the hot button topic. I've gone back and read some of the articles. Some people have done small little short documentaries about this anime because it was so influential at the time, especially with the music. It was a huge ordeal, and even though they messed up like the 9th and the 8th seasons, it was accepted well over what was expected. So I'm working through that. I finished Noragami Part 1 and Part 2, a newer anime. It came out 2014, 2013, and then the second part a year later. And I only watched it because I went back and watched some old Demolition D's reviews, and he said, "Oh, it's like Durarara and Persona 3 had a baby, or Persona 4 had a baby," and and I'm like, "Oh, that sounds interesting, I guess." And so basically, it's about the gods, any sort of god. What we do is we focus on the Japanese ones because we're in Japan, and so the more recognized the god is, the higher the statue is, and so it's basically this no-name god. He goes around helping people for 5 yen, so that he gets recognized, and then also so that he can slowly build up enough money to buy a shrine, so he can become a more seriously taken god. And so crazy, wacky adventures pursue with that. I don't want to get too into it because it's getting pretty heavy spoiler territory just from the synopsis. So, and then also besides watching our homework, I watched Godzilla Resurrection.
Wait, you mean Shin Godzilla?
Yeah, I'm using the actual name, so
Okay.
A Resurgence, wasn't it? Yeah, it's Godzilla Resurgence. I can't remember. And done by our favorite Cruel Angel's Thesis boy. So that was alright. That's about it. I mean, it wasn't great. It was a lot better than our Godzilla that we got here.
Of course.
And I did like the model. Godzilla. It was very reminiscent of the old style Godzilla in the rubber suits, but just CGI this time. And he definitely, it was, I want to say that's probably the most original concept they ever had of defeating Godzilla, ever.
Yeah.
So I was very on board with that. That was a great. I mean, if we could have seen a little bit more action, if Godzilla hadn't dragged his feet, you know, like an emo kid having to go to high school on the first day, it would have been a little bit better. I liked his super long tail. I really liked that design. But yeah, like I was saying, you know, if we could have made some more, you know, just a little bit more hustle or a little bit more like movement with his feet, you know, less than like the shuffle he was doing.
Yeah.
But I mean, and I mean, the Japanese actors were great. As far as that goes, it was a classic Godzilla. Oh, the government's got to do something. The government's got to this and that. Blah blah blah.
So I think a little bit of personal trivia, because I think out of the very, very minimal research I done, like right around that time Shin Godzilla was made, you know how he does his breath attack?
Yeah.
Everything after that has pretty much anything from Japan that has a dragon of some sort that does a breath attack. They always have to start it exactly like that, with the fire, and then all of a sudden it turns into a beam and crack like that. Like from Nier Automata onward is just like, oh wow, I wonder where you got that from. And yeah.
Well, I also like how he could shoot the beams out of his spine too.
Yep.
And his tail too was great. He was like, whirr, just like a chimera tail sort of, you know, looking thing.
But yeah.
No, so that was really good. I also got Krampus on the list to watch. Not the crappy one that came out in 2015, but the full feature one that came out last year. That has Ben from Parks and Rec on it, and a whole bunch of other TV actors. Only because, like I said, I've been watching a whole bunch of Red Letter Media recently, and Mike from the show really recommended it because it was a very thought was a very original horror film, and also had an amazing soundtrack and really good production and really good live effect. Oh, what is it? Really good special effects. It wasn't anything. CG was used minimally.
Yep.
Everything else was live props, so that's definitely a good thing to see.
Of course.
But no, besides that, I mean, I haven't seen anything since Spider-Man. Oh no, wait, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2, or Volume 2, or whatever it's called. And I was genuinely surprised. I like this one better than the first one.
Huh.
I thought the soundtrack was a little bit better than from the first one. And I definitely liked the character interaction a lot better than the first one. Maybe it's because I already seen the first one and they set up their character archetypes, but this one just spoke to me on a different level. I mean, it still wasn't like groundbreaking or anything, but you know, for what's supposedly like a B-rated superhero film, you know, like on the sidelines of the Marvel cinematic universe, so to speak, until, you know, the crossover with the Avengers happens. It was very good, a lot better than I thought it would be. So I was genuinely surprised with that. But that's about it for what I've been up to. John, what have you been up to besides drinking?
I'm so glad you two are awake compared to me. This has gone on to me being the sleep cast.
Woo!
Honestly, other than working out, I haven't been doing too much. Like, that's how most of my life goes right now. I'm slowly becoming Bane from the Batman comics. Except I'm not, you know, Latino.
And you don't use drugs, right?
Yeah, as far as I know.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what happens to me at night. Yeah, I tend to do like 2, sometimes 3 workouts a day.
That's pretty good.
I have the one for cardio. Every now and then, till it starts snowing, I do climbing up the mountain near my house. And every night before bed, I'm lifting weights. So that's how I fall asleep. Bane has his teddy bear. I have my weights that I just cuddle up with. So video games, I guess I did some of it lately. I have Dragon Ball Z Mission X on 3DS, and that's based off the arcade machines that they have in Japan, where you have the actual physical cards and you have to move the cards around on the board to match what's going up on the screen. They have like a Kamen Rider type one as well, and I'm sure they have a bunch of other ones. You know, I'm probably definitely sure they must have a Yu-Gi-Oh one. I mean, it's perfect for that. So this is, you know, the pachinko for kids. This is their waste their money in crack on this. Except they don't get marbles that they can then trade in for like a teddy bear, and then trade in for $200 at the pawn shop that's just conveniently nearby.
Yeah.
The pachinko parlor. So it's fun. It goes all the way up to the current tournament arc, the Tournament of Power. I don't think we have that DLC because unless you have a Japanese 3DS, good luck getting that update. But it has a lot of characters. I think I'm about to get Time Patroller Gohan.
Nice.
So that's an interesting one. They actually had the fusion of Goku and Hercule. They have Gokule in the game. So they have a bunch of fusions. The last character I did get was Mira from the it's not Xenosaga, I know that.
Xenoverse?
Yes, the universe.
Okay.
See? This is what happens when you drink all day. You misname everything everywhere. But yeah, it has Xenoverse stuff, so it has that world mixed in with it. And supposedly I can get hit right now, I just don't know where. So other than that, I played a little bit of Smite. They have a new event going on, and it's bullshit. Waste of $20 fucking, I can tell you that.
How so?
Well, it's a PvP where you just pick characters that can toss people off cliffs, and there you go. Play of the game. So there's this one character that's all about picking people up, spinning them around, tossing them. You pick him and you can kill like 4 people at once. So people have been coming up with some pretty bullshit things. The only thing that is worth it is you get a lot of skins. So, and I don't have a lot of them. So it's worth it there, but it's not worth the friggin' frustration that I've been getting from having to actually play Smite. And not be playing the PvE mode that was the last adventure. The last adventure was actually people teaming up, fighting creatures on the map, and you would be able to get a match just like that. You know, 2 seconds is probably the most you would have to wait. I waited 2 to 4 minutes to get into a match with this current adventure. So I think that's saying people don't like this PvP shit. I mean, yeah, it's more than Battleborn or For Honor, you know. Those take longer, but they're also, you know, considered dead. So saying that, hey, at least this game's not better than a dead game isn't saying much. I played Overwatch, of course, Summer Games. I've only lost like 2 Lucio Ball matches out of all of them that I've done. But I got the Reaper skin and I said, well, don't need to play this now. I'll play it when I see the next skin I want, but for now, I got the Biker Reaper, I'm good. I've also been playing Wizard 101, which is an online...
Oh man, I remember that.
Wow.
So, my level 63 mage got fucked because they have a master password system now. And supposedly I put in a password even though I don't remember doing so. And I can't remember it at all.
Amazing.
And I sent it to the support asking, and I told them that the email that they're trying to send it to was hacked. And I just got the automated message of, fuck you, you're not speaking to a human.
Skynet is real.
Yeah. So I lost that account basically. Like, I can still access it, but I mean, I can't put my subscription on anymore.
Wow.
So I had to make a brand new one. And after having your OP gear of actually purchasing stuff with your crowns,
Wow.
you start to notice being a noob sucks.
Uh-huh.
Like, playing through it, you go, wait, it was, I don't remember it being this shitty. But yeah. Even in my beta days, it was funner. But I still enjoy Wizard 101 a lot. But I guess that's just because I have a group that I can actually play with.
Yeah.
Is there anything else? I'm sure I played like Adventure Quest one of those days.
Oh man.
Oh,
That's another one, brings back memories.
and Justice 2. That's the thing I've been obsessed over.
Oh.
And I have a level 20 Bane. And most people level 20 actually. Then I saw Black Mantis coming out and I'm like, oh yeah.
What about that Hellboy?
I get that Black Manta.
Hellboy I don't really know because I think I watched the movie.
Just keep spamming that left hook.
Yeah. Keep flicking that cigarette, something will happen. But yeah, I don't really know much about Hellboy. I know he punches stuff, shoots stuff, and smokes cigars. But it's been so long, and I haven't read his comics, so all I'm hoping is that his spot didn't take up what might be Azrael, because I'm really hoping Azrael's going to be a character. The other negative thing about being drunk, you can't remember shit. What did I do yesterday? I'm staring at my case of One Piece Pirate Warrior 3. I haven't played that in forever. I don't know why I'm staring at it, but my eyes just are glued to it. I think it's my body saying, you should watch One Piece. You are so fucking behind, my boy.
Where are you at?
Alright, so I guess, oh fuck. Somewheres.
Alright.
Not when he found the One Piece, that's for sure. Movies. I watched a war movie.
Oh, Dunkirk?
Yeah.
How was it? Was it Christopher Nolan blandiness or Christopher Nolan? Oh, this one's actually pretty good.
I don't really know. I think most of the time I was thinking about Dragon Ball Super.
I read that a lot on the IMDb comments.
Ooh.
It's like hard to follow plot sometimes. Really, just thinking about Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah. And all those hard to follow plots. So, watching wise, Kamen Rider X-Aid's almost done.
That's the one with that.
So,
right?
yeah,
All right.
Yeah,
it's the Dr. Gamer one.
it's the Dr. Mario spin-off.
Yeah. Hey, Pac-Man's in it, so.
Well, it's Namco. So.
Well, because Pac-Man's got to be like, it's got to be public property by now.
Why not? Pixels used it, so.
And then even though the creator's not dead, they had another guy who looks just like the creator in the movie because they couldn't bother to contact the creator of Pac-Man.
Yeah.
Which was really weird.
That's the movie we should watch next time.
Oh man.
I saw Pixels recently just because they were watching it on the TV. I didn't watch the full thing, of course. I saw the Pac-Man part come up and I was like, oh, right, I'm out. Oh, that's not true. I saw the ending. Oh, fuck. That's right. That's an Adam Sandler ending. I mean, I don't want to review X8 till it's done, but I guess to kind of give a short review of it, it's good. It's not. Well,
How would you like?
Is it more on the corny side or is it more on the serious side?
oh, it's corny as all hell, and very cartoonish.
Is it O's corny or is it Ghost corny?
Where would you put them between? Where would you put this one in between, like the Kamen Riders?
I would say that this one could be a drive.
Ooh, okay. Well, I mean, because most of them are a little bit corny, but I mean, how does it balance?
I would say for kind of like cartooniness, it's a bit like O's maybe, but maybe even closer to Double. Where it's like it's got cartoony points to it, but then it's got like real seriousness to it as well.
Okay, so it's got a good balance.
Yeah. The only thing is, yeah.
Here it comes.
It's one of those things where you're like, oh no, a character's dead, and it's almost like an anime or a comic book where it's like, oh wait a minute, characters who die in comic books don't stay dead.
So it's the reverse power of your stand? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Actually, amazingly, the one that I liked didn't die once. So, interesting.
You're losing it.
It's evolving.
However, the good thing is there is a guy who eventually his whole gimmick is actually about dying, and then when he does, he has it continue. So he gets like 99 continues.
Okay.
And he becomes like a developer who stays up all night and eventually dies of exhaustion, but then just comes back. He's like, can get back to work now.
Alright.
And then his line is, I'll complete this no matter how many continues I need to use up. And then the main character's saying is, I'll complete this without using any continues.
Okay.
But here's the real important thing, John. Does he sacrifice his friends for more time on the clock?
One of the writers ends up doing that, yes.
Ooh.
Good.
But it doesn't really lead to much.
That doesn't matter. It just needs to be there.
But I'd say all the actual writers actually have pretty good stories behind them. It's not just look, he's a writer because he's really good at shit, or I don't know, he found a magical hand floating around and it gave him tokens. Or, hey, look, it's a train that goes into time and fucks up timelines. You know, it's not that. But, yeah, I'd say it's a good series. But is it drive good? I can't really judge that yet. But the thing is, I think the ending, like the ending, is a movie.
Oh, great.
And it's based off virtual reality, so he gets a virtual reality power. And that's when Build comes into play. And then they're like, hey, look, it's Build. It's time for the next series.
Time to pass the torch.
Yeah. It's actually funny, they had like a reveal for Build.
So that's the
and Ichigo was there. Like judging his henshin and stuff. And when he saw Build, he's like, what's with the ears on the helmet? and like the whole time he was viewing all these different henshins over the years, Ichigo was not impressed. Even at his own, he was just like, He was just like Saga to Sensoro all over it. He's like, that's not a Sega Saturn. Why aren't you playing Sega Saturn? So yeah, I guess when you get to that point, be aware that it's a good series as far as I'm concerned, as a Kamen Rider fan. The looks will take getting used to, because you're not used to seeing Kamen Riders with like such cartoony eyes.
Oh god, that's one thing I have to get over.
But, I mean, as you saw, I based my own Kamen Rider Surtur, off XA because I liked it that much. So you do get used to it, and they do get like cool forms. So they're not like chibi the whole time. In fact, the chibi only lasts 4 or so episodes.
Thank God.
And then they're just like, oh yeah, they don't need to do that shit. Because originally it was, chibi mode has to be active to extract the virus, and then the Kamen Rider defeats the creature. And you can only defeat the big pus ball berserk animation monster by being chibi. But then they're just like, nah, just level them up. Fuck it. We're done selling those toys. Let's move on to the next ones. And I mean, that's the way you gotta look at these Toku series. Is you can't look at it by being like, oh god, another power up. Of course there's gonna be another power up. They're fucking trying to sell toys. And most of the toys they're trying to sell are actually good. Way overpriced, because yeah, if a Canadian wants it, you're paying like $200 fucking for a belt that just makes noises.
And then you got to get the adult extender for it.
Yep. Then you gotta buy the actual helmet.
Then you gotta get all the attachments for it.
That's right. But the gashettes are actually cool, and at one point X8 actually blows into the cartridge, signaling the old days of the cartridge blowing for us old folks watching.
Back when humans had the power to harness the wind.
That's right. So we've been watching X8. It's good. Excited for builds. It looks interesting. It's all,
you never know.
It's all about scientists, so, and it's half and half. So they took from Double, because Double's also getting that manga adaptation that's coming out.
Oh yeah, that's one thing I love about the writer mangas, is they always come out after the series, and then the writer in the manga looks nothing like the real person counterpart who played the role.
Yeah.
And so whenever you're on like the Kamen wiki, every time you look up anything, it's just, oh, here's his like show version, and here's like the manga version, and they're just some are so different.
Yeah.
Like one of the ones was like he had a shaved head, and like the other guy had like a full head of hair, and it was just I can't remember which one it was, but I was just looking through all of them the other day.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you look at the manga version of Black and then you look at the actual actor for Black, you cannot tell how the hell they got that.
Oh yeah.
Definitely when he's fighting the Phantom of the Opera in his manga for some reason. But then again, Kamen Rider Ichigo was fighting Nazis, so like Japanese Nazis.
Worst kind.
So other than that, I mean, I've been trying to keep up with My Hero Academia.
Uh-huh.
I've kind of done good at that.
Kinda.
The last episode I ended with was the episode that was all about, what's her name, Asoyoi or whatever, the frog girl.
Froppy.
Yeah,
Froppy.
Froppy.
Yeah, Froppy.
So that was good.
Hashtag Team Froppy.
And Dragon Ball Super, I'm all caught up except for the episode that came out today, because we don't get to see it till tomorrow.
Yep, not until tomorrow morning, or late tonight, depending on...
Yeah. Well, I don't mind staying up late. I have nothing better to do than to watch Dragon Ball Super. But
Amen.
I was hyped because Gohan finally got his goddamn moments, instead of just like 2 seconds in an episode where you just see him and go, oh look, it's Gohan.
Uh-huh.
Just standing there, patting Piccolo's back.
Yeah. And, you know, they had the true father-son moment of Piccolo and Gohan. And Piccolo being like, I'm so proud.
And then Goku comes back, he's like, oh, Gohan, you're not dead, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna fight someone else now.
It's like, I'm gonna go off and I'm gonna go help our enemies from Universe 6.
Yeah. Wait a minute, is that Jiren? Well, bye Gohan. Yeah, so I've been enjoying Super. Super's actually good. And today I started Dragon Ball Kai.
Dragon Ball Z Kai.
Yes. Which
All right,
I only needed the 2 episodes because the Great Saiyaman showed up.
Uh-huh.
Okay, boys and boys, let's get into our homework, which I graciously bestowed upon us this time. We watched the newer horror film, The VVitch, a New England folktale, but in the U.S. is known more commonly as The Witch. And so, who wants to give us a light synopsis?
A light synopsis. I think I'll take up that torch, Josiah.
It's probably good because I don't think John may not be capable at the moment.
Let's see here. Basically, I guess a family of Christians.
No. Now, be specific. We're in the 1600s, so these are Protestant Quakers.
I guess the father did something that was against the code, so he was banished along with his family. And he's like, I'll catch you all on the flip side. So they get banished to I guess like a remote woods type area. Like, hey, let's set up shop here. Let's plant some corn. Let's milk some goats. Have some chickens lay their eggs. The good stuff. So I'm like, all right, yeah, okay, we can do that. So what they don't know is that a witch is living in their woods, and that causes strife within the family. And pretty much that's the entire movie. Is the witch casts some kinds of curses on this family Christian centerfold of like 4 kids. 4 kids and
Yes, 4 kids.
and a mother and father. Well, and a baby too. So yeah, that's like a very very quick synopsis. You want to get?
Well,
you want.
I want to correct you a little bit on the beginning, because the father William, the family wasn't banished because he broke a law. He kept saying that the other people on the plantation were breaking covenant with the Lord, and they were saying against him that he was too prideful and disagree. You know, they had a bickering on the morals, and so it wasn't. I mean, yes, it was a banishment, but it was much more of him just leaving the pack because he thought that they were not operating within his views of way that plantation should run.
Well,
he was too much drama, and he's like, boys, I'm not a drama llama. We're out.
He can't. There you go. He just
can't even. To quote the Powerpuff Girls.
No me gusta.
But no, yeah, and so first off, this really isn't really much of a. I mean, it's a horror film, but I would really more say it's a thriller.
I agree 100%.
Has more elements of a thriller. It's definitely a thriller horror, but it's not. It's psychological, is what I say. A psychological thriller that has real elements, which is nice. They go back and forth. So, like we said, opening scene, we have they're in a court in a trial on a plantation there in newly settled America somewhere. We don't New England someplace, not specific. And so we see the family, and they're in a town hall, maybe not even a trial, so to speak. But like we said, the father of the family, William, he doesn't like how certain things are being done in the village. Says that they're being contrary to God, everything like that. For this Quaker plantation, of course, they say that no, he's being prideful or full of himself, everything like that. And so they leave and they search, and so that's kind of the opening of the movie. You get great scenes in the background, and then they find this little patch by an edge of the woods near brook, like a little creek, and they kind of set up shop there and have some babies. Now,
and get busy.
There are 5 children actually, because you're only counting after.
After.
I just remembered myself.
Well,
that there are 5 children.
After I included the baby as well.
Yeah. And well, at the end there's only so much, but we'll get there. So, so we were brought into this. Yes, we're seeing their day-to-day life. Now, I really liked the diction they used.
Very much so.
I thought it was excellent, and they didn't ever break character. It was amazing how well they did the timepiece for this. Like, everything seemed right. The tools, the way they lived their lives, the fact they're up the crack of dawn, the way they spoke to each other as a family, it all seemed correct for that time period. Without me being, a historical expert. But it wasn't cheesy and it wasn't schlocky, so that was good. The first thing that I noticed. No, after that, we get a little bit of their lives, and the little happy family trying to rug it out. A day's horse ride from the plantation, and then this opening spook really sets the tone for the whole film, in which the oldest daughter, Thomason, she is out. She is holding the baby while her mother does something. And she's out near the edge, not near the edge of the woods, but a couple yards from the edge of the woods, and just has the baby down on the ground, play peekaboo with it. Baby's name's Samuel, and she just peekaboo, a couple times. The baby's laughing, having fun, and you hear the baby laughing every time she closes her eyes, and so it goes from the baby's face up to her face, covering it, And from that point, at one point she covers her eyes and you don't hear the baby anymore. And then she says peekaboo down and the baby's gone. Vanished from sight. Nothing. You hear a couple like brush ramblings, you know, like at that moment, but you don't see anything that catches the eye, and the baby's just gone near the edge of the woods. And so that kind of sets the whole tone for the film here, which is I mean, that was done amazingly. Like I like that. That's what really started to sell it for me. Like I was thinking, oh, okay, you know, this and that's gonna be one of those. Oh, there's not really a witch here. You know, it's gonna be like you know, Salem Trials or whatever, or the Crucible. The Crucible. Really, have you ever seen the Crucible?
I don't think I have.
Well, basically, it's about the Salem witch trials, or a similar event. It's not really specific. But the opening shot is, you know, a bunch of young girls dancing in the woods naked around a fire, which will also remind you of a certain scene in this film as well that we'll get to. And basically, it's how these girls think it's fun to think that they're selling their souls to the devil, and then somebody finds out about their activities, and then they go through the witch trials, basically. And so they all try to stay together and try and stay composed, saying that they weren't there, keep the story straight. But then there's a falling out, of course, and somebody squeals. And so then they try and one-up each other as much as possible. Because none of them want to die.
Keep that combo going.
Yeah. You don't want to drop them. Don't want them to catch their wind. But, and so that I saw a lot of, like, the imagery used and a lot of the same themes from the Crucible with kind of strewn through here, sewn in here. And I recognized that immediately and thought it was a great just kind of salute to them, because they were the last big film that kind of had this whole witchy settler feel to it. That was good.
Oh, yeah. Also, I think maybe like a few years earlier, there was a movie by Rob Zombie. I think it was called Salem's Lot or something like that.
Oh,
something along that line.
Yeah.
I forget. But yeah, basically, like, that was like pretty much like one of the first ones that I've seen that sort of touched this little thing, but like in modern times, and it was like pretty like whoa, geez, I guess. Like, it's like you're gonna go with all this material that's a bit too on the nose. That's good. I like that. But yeah, like very, very much in that like mindset, and like it does it really well. But it's like again, it's one of them Rob Zombie films starring his daughter as the main character in a very compromising position. So cough. But yeah. Go on.
Well, I feel like I'm hogging the spotlight here a little bit too much. Sterling, what do you think about the children actors?
Oh, aside from the female twin, which even then is like, yeah,
Mercy, yeah.
Everybody was like pretty much like amazing in how they acted.
I didn't think Mercy was too bad.
No, that's why I said, like, aside from her, everybody was like pretty much perfect. But even then, Mercy was still pretty like fantastic in that area.
Yeah, especially for such a young child.
Even the male twin, which was Jonas.
Well, he only got like 5 words of dialogue.
Hey, you know, although like some little foibles here in the acting of gotta get that spotlight, gotta get them agents on my call and whim, you know. But other than that, pretty much like they felt like characters that I was looking at through a little lock hole, you know.
It felt like a real family too, you know.
a family
Which
in
is
that
good.
time, which is like even more so.
Yeah, it's so close knit that I mean their worlds just revolve around each other.
But yeah,
But
I think about. Let me see here. The thing with like, all right, so like to go off from like where you ended off, in which
stopped.
the baby is taken.
Samuel's gone. Yeah.
It then cuts to like the witch in the woods and like doing something with that baby, and it was just like, what?
Well, we know exactly what it does to that baby.
I was like, wowzers.
It spares us some of the gore, but we know exactly what it did to that baby.
It was just like, dang, I guess. Which like, to me, like that part was like, this is the witch. This is the movie I'm watching.
They're not backing down.
And like pretty much everything like that comes after is just like, okay, now what do we do? But like basically like it goes to like, the father and son have their moment in the woods, and like, oh, we gotta go hunting. Oh, but don't tell mom about this. Like, oh, you got this from the Indians? Where'd you? How? Oh, you know, that silver cup she always likes, and super duper will never ever talk about it because she's so much in grief to remember it. We can let that slide. We'll talk to her when it's time. It's all good and dandy. It's like, oh, okay, fine, alright, okay, alright. And then everything gets escalated from that point on, in which they set the trap for like anything that comes their way. And then Caleb gets the idea and like, hey, why don't I just go out there, after being a skeezy brother to his sister for some reason. Kafka.
Yeah, he's a dirty little pervert.
It's like one of my animes.
He's like, he just kind of rubs his chin. He's like, early in the morning, I'm in the 1600s. That's my sister. Only woman around for miles that's even close to my age.
Which kind of irked me for like a little bit, but then I'm like, you know what? Fine.
Well, the important thing is that they didn't dwell on those scenes. It's just little quips of it, you know,
thing.
And just enough to hint that yes, he's at that time where he's hitting puberty,
later in
and he's
the movie,
you know.
which I'm like, oh, okay, there you go. That's how you do that. So
Yeah.
And then like. So Caleb, the boy, the boy, and Thomason, his sister, go out in the woods because they need to, so that they can get their mom from stop grieving. Like, oh, hey, maybe this will help.
Well, yeah, because they just heard their parents saying that they're gonna put Thomason in another home as basically indentured servant, so she can survive because the crops are failing and they can't catch anything, and everything's falling on top of them. You know, lost a child.
So Caleb with his father's rifle and the hunting dog and the horse.
Oh, the rifle almost killed him.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah, okay.
I was like, yep, this is the time period piece.
They go into the woods to get that little trap, and like, oh, hey, we found it. You found something in the trap. Oh, a little dead bunny.
Oh, well, before that, when Thomason goes to see why the goats are up, there's that rabbit in the barn.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
That's an
Yep.
important piece right before they go into the woods.
It was all the rabbit's fault.
It's yeah, well, but I mean the goats are unsettled. She comes out this after dinner after she gets scolded for stealing the cup, in which the cup that was stolen, and Father's silent, and Thomason takes the blame. She isn't happy about that. She didn't touch that darn cup. And so she goes out and there's a rabbit in there, and so it's weird, and you're wondering what's going on, and cuts the next scene. But while they're out in the woods, they catch a rabbit in the trap, or a squirrel or something. I can't remember. I think it's a rabbit.
I believe so.
And whatever it is, it's a nice size and it's furry. So they come back from getting the catch on the horse, on their family's only horse they need for traveling.
Yes.
And the dog, what was the dog's name? It was Fowler, yeah. And so Fowler's going nuts, and then you see the rabbit that was in the barn. And it's the rabbit that his dad shot at earlier when him and his father were in the woods as well. And so the dog starts chasing after it, and then Caleb starts chasing after Fowler, saying that he's a stupid dog. And then and the horse starts acting up that Thomason is on. The horse starts going nuts as soon as it sees the rabbit. And so the horse throws Thomason off and just runs off. And then this is where it starts getting, the music starts coming up again. And so Caleb finds Fowler, barely breathing, gored, and just lying in some branches, kind of whimpering, and then just dead.
It was definitely a wipeout.
And then Caleb looks back and sees that he doesn't know where he is, and then sees the rabbit. And so, being the smart, intelligent young boy, possibly bewitched at this point, young man that Caleb is, starts following the rabbit. An amazing throwback to Alice in Wonderland. And so he follows the rabbit and finds the witch's house. And this is a great scene because of the way Caleb's face looks as he approaches the house. How would you describe that look, Sterling?
Horrified.
Like his brows are furrowed, and his mouth is a little bit agape. And you dwell on that face for a long time, like a good 2-3 minutes. It just seems like distressed or overwhelmed, like he doesn't know what's going on in his surroundings,
But he's still curious about what's up with that house. And then a pretty lady comes out, but he's still horrified for some reason. And he's still confused, but for some reason he's
she's pretty, so I'll get closer.
Keep walking because he sees that definite 9 out there holding up them dress.
Oh, and also, the young witch at this point has the that corset on, like the Little Red Riding Hood classic one looking one, and so he can see the top of her breast. So I mean that's pretty tempting for a man Caleb's age.
That's enough for a little 14-year-old.
I'd say he's about 12.
8. So yeah, and then all of a sudden, let me get that big huge smooch on your face, little Caleb.
Yeah, it's a very awkward kiss.
With
very forced. He just kind of waits until he's in grasp and just kind of grabs him,
And then a man hand comes out. And just
it's not a man hand, it's an old witch hand.
Yep.
Long fingernails suddenly appears. grabs him. And so then we see old Thomason waking up from her booze trip on the ground. And she doesn't know what's going on, so she hears her father calling, and their father and the William and Catherine are going nuts because they can't find it. And the best part of this scene is that they have Mercy and Jonas tied to a fence, so they can't run around. Because man, those twins are just a handful the entire film, just like actual twins would be. And so she goes and she finds William.
So about like around
says that she doesn't know
like
where Caleb is.
before.
Got lost, separated, whatever. And I want to make a little comment here as well that while he was approaching the witch's cabin, before you actually see the cabin and know what he's doing, I thought because he's doing like the slow approach, you can see him like slowly moving, like his head bobbing just a little bit. And I thought that he was carrying Fowler back to the farm, like in his hands, because you don't see the gun anymore over his shoulder. And so that's where I thought it was going. This movie took me for a couple spins here because it kind of changed what I thought was going to happen, which is good. Because I couldn't just follow it, easily without having to put too much deep thought to it. It was a very thought-provoking film in certain places. But no, so Catherine is just dying because another one of her spawn has been taken. Another man. And she gets all up in William's face. And I really just feel bad for William, this whole film.
Yeah.
He's trying his best, like honestly. And he's just trying his best, and just things just aren't going his way. Like the whole back and forth between him and Catherine about like what he should do. He's like, no, I'll go in the morning. I won't come back until I find him. And then Catherine's just upset, and he's like, well, okay, I'll go tonight and find him in the rain. And she's like, no, you'll kill yourself. And then Jonas will be the man in the house, and he's like 4. And then he's like, whatever you want, I'll do it. And I'm like, yeah, that's how that would go. Because Catherine's just so over it. Like she's, she just lost a child. She's still, still producing milk at this point, and so she's got that that post-baby depression now, especially. And so she's just thrown for a whirl, doesn't know what to do, can't figure, especially when freaking Thomason has led both boys to death, basically. Of course, Caleb told Thomason not to come. Like 6 times, like, I cannot. I will not allow it. You cannot. And she had to be a little sneak and be like, well, I'll go tell Ma and Pa if you don't let me come with you on your amazing adventure to go find a dead rabbit.
That's the secret word in Pee-wee's Playhouse. Come along.
Dead rabbit. John, you want to get in on this? Pick up?
I don't know, my dudes. All I have is like jokes.
Okay.
All I did was take time to write down jokes.
Okay.
That's I guess that's how I do things. I'm the joker of the group. Yeah, because of how my mindset is right now, I can't even remember what happens.
That's fine. I just didn't want to ignore you, buddy, unless you want to be ignored at this point.
I'll have my say, and then that's when it's time for you guys to take a nap.
Okay. No, but so tensions are high in this household,
Yes.
in this shack. They're just sitting down, don't know what to do. It's getting late, storm's going on, and then Thomason asks her mother, have you laid down the goats? Have you put them to bed? And she's like, nay. And then Thomason says, no, mother, not the horse, the goats. But No, but so she goes and she's like, okay, I'll get in good favor with my mother again. I'll put down the animals to sleep. And so she's doing that, and then she hears something at the gate. And so your first thought is the witch, obviously, but it's not. It's old Caleb coming back from the pub, naked and inebriated, just spouting nonsense. And so they take him in, and he has like some weird blood blisters on his face they have to drain.
I thought that.
And so they cut open his wounds to let him drain. He just has some scrapes on his face, and so he's just kind of incapacitated. And they don't know what to do. They don't think it's anything. There shouldn't be anything wrong with him besides him just running back in the middle of a terrible storm, naked, and probably having pneumonia, which wasn't invented at that time. And so so they're like, well, and so they ponder what to do. My wife thinks it's an Indian curse. And so again, William's like, okay, I'll fix it. I will go to town with Thomason, dump her on some good family. let everything cool down for a little bit. I'll take in Caleb as well, so the doctor can see him. And I'll take in whatever we have to trade in so he can see the doctor.
Okay.
Maybe one of the goats as well. And so, at this point, Catherine gets on his case again, saying it's a day by horse. What are you gonna do? And he's just like, he's just had it at this point. He's like, what am I supposed to do, Catherine? She's like, you can't leave me alone with the twins. And he's like, it'll be a day and a half, and I'll be back. This is not unreasonable travel for this time period. But she's still just in emotional wrecks, just can't even. And so he's I mean, you got to give props to William, for putting up with this. I mean, he even lets his wife hit him.
Mm-hmm.
In one of the scenes, she just slaps him and then she apologizes, and his bloody nose, she clubs him, that open palm, just boom, and he has to have the rags underneath his nose. But Sterling, you wanna take over from here?
Alright. So then, after they find Caleb and he's in bed, get some bed rest. Alright. And then all of a sudden he's getting convulsions after in the morning. He's like, oh geez, what's happening? Oh, he can't open his mouth for some reason. Oh jeez, get his mouth open with these freaking things.
Well, he uses he grabs out his knife. He has a knife on him, just a knife with a handle on him. And so he puts the handle into his mouth to try and pry it open, not the sharp end of the knife, but the handle.
And then gets it open, and then all of a sudden it's like a half-eaten sort of apple of some sort, or cherry, or
it's like a rotted apple, yeah.
Yeah,
small
very,
rotted
very small apple. Okay. And then Mercy's like, that's gotta be the work of a witch, right? Oh wait, let me piece this together. Wasn't Thomason joking around with me that she is a witch? This must be her.
Just give me leave her alone, because I'm a terrible sister.
I gotta tell everybody in this room right now that she's a witch. She told me herself.
She signed the Black Book of the Devil.
And then Catherine is like, what? And then pretty much everybody's like blaming her now. Like, hey, whoa.
No, not William. William's very skeptical.
It's like William's all like, okay, you gotta tell me you love the Jesus.
Wait, he asks Mercy for proof first, like actual proof, like deeds that she's done.
But then, like right after that, he just goes up to Thomas and like, yo, tell me straight, yo, you a witch?
Well, first Caleb has this episode that really puts the nails in the coffin.
Oh yeah, his episode of gotta get them agents looking at me. Gotta act full hand now. And basically Caleb is, after being prayed over, expires from this cruel world. And then William's just like, okay, nah dog. You a witch or you not, huh? Thomason?
It's like I've never brought up a witch in this household.
You look.
And so Thomason, being bullied by everybody in a no bully zone, runs outside.
Gotta get them.
And then William, being dad of the freaking year, comes up, tries to calm her down, and ask her, and you just be like, "Are you a witch? Like seriously?"
Like I ain't raised no witch in this household. You love the Bible? Mm-hmm. You love Jesus? Mm-hmm. Alright. That's
well, then
good
of course,
for me.
main man Black Phillip comes into play.
Yeah, and then she's like, you know what? I think the twins, for no reason, the twins. Yep, yeah, them twins are.
Well, no, I mean there is some reasoning there because they don't know that there's somebody in the woods, and so it has to be somebody in the house at that point that for what they knowledge they have.
Even though they're little babies, they had to have known that they could sell their soul.
Well, just think. I mean, they have like 32 songs about Black Phillip this thing. Oh, Black Phillip, by the way, because we haven't said sooner, is the goat.
With the horns.
Is the male goat.
The stereotypical goat witch theme.
Well, it's not. It's the goat Satan thing. It's not really the witch thing, but and so because like the twins throughout the movie are talking about Black Phillip being king, in pushing people down to the earth and giving back more than he receives and all these like really funny little songs that they make up about Black Phillip and talking about, Black Phillip's told us this and that about you. He whispers it to us at night and blah 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 blah, which now seems very accusatory now that they think there's a witch living among them, or someone who can be witch, someone under
so like pretty much
supernatural power.
All this is happening, and
so Thomason takes it and says, "Nah, not me. It's Tweedledee and Tweedledum."
And then they also go into like a thing when they were going to when they were praying over Caleb, like, "Oh, geez, get this demon out of this kid." Like, hey, why aren't you praying, you twins? Like, cause we're doing the same with that thing. We're gonna convulse on the floor and not do nothing.
Well, first they say we've forgotten our prayer. We don't remember what the prayer is. And the parents are like, what? We've been drawing that in for like the last 5 years.
Yep.
Like, what other thing could you remember? There's no internet. There's no books. So, I mean, literally, like, that's something that, like, how could you not remember? Like, but, and so then they start convulsing on the ground, start playing, and then it's so funny when William comes up into the house and, like, shakes the twins. And then they start screaming, like, ah! And he's like, he gets so tired of it, too. He's like, I'm not going to play games with kids.
Like, he puts his foot down, he's like, you know what? See that goat house over there? You're going to be locked in there. Okay.
That's your new home.
That's going to be your new home. And then that's just what he does. Like, hey, you can't can't lock me in here with these twins, Thomason exclaims. Like, no way, Jose. And like, I guess she just like accepts it, like, okay, fine. And then some of the weird things start happening. All of a sudden, at night, when Catherine and William are sleeping in their little tidy beds.
Yeah, they're twin-sized beds.
Catherine wakes up like, what? Huh? Like, oh, what? Caleb, my son? You there? Oh, and my baby boy? My baby boy is here too? Oh, jeez. This is a family reunion. And then, like, she's just, like, happy to see him. Like, oh, man, this baby? This baby's getting hungry, I can tell. Oh, well, time to whip him out.
Hashtag feminism. Hashtag free the nipple.
And then as this is happening, the twins and Thomason are like, oh jeez, what's that? Like crawling around in the bushes.
They hear footsteps on the roof, yeah.
Like, oh jeez, what's that? And then I forget what type of light source they use, or not at all.
No, it's not. It's the moonlight that they're looking at. It's not raining, and you just see the moonlight through the cracks. And whatever it is falls. Whatever's on the roof falls through the ceiling of the little barn there that they're in.
And then you get this little pan up through. Oh, what's this thing doing to this goat?
Yeah.
Like what? Huh?
Well, for a good like minute and a half, you don't see what's happening. You just see the people's faces, which is nice.
And then apparently it's the witch. She was in the house the whole time.
She was stealing that milk.
She's stealing that milk.
That milk.
And then as this is happening, he's like, oh my gosh, the witch is here. And then it goes back to Catherine. Which...
It was in the witch's hut.
Unfortunately funny for me.
Yeah, I know, I started laughing a little bit.
Where you see Catherine just holding a rag.
A raven.
And a crow raven. That crow's getting fresh. Just going on that.
Just smashing.
Mm-hmm.
Smashing on that titty.
Let me smash.
Getting some action. Yeah, so like basically in her dreams she's thinking, oh, I'm just feeding my baby with Caleb there. Oh, but in reality all I'm holding is like a rag that the baby was in. And Crow is just nipping at my chest. You know? Yeah.
My buds.
So yep. But apparently that's still all in her dream. So when she wakes up with like a bloody little thing on her chest, she's like, pay no mind.
Which everybody ignores because she doesn't put up her hair and her hair covers it like for the rest of the film.
And then
it's nuts. And then so William wakes up and slowly like climbs over his wife. And so he comes out, and then then we get to see what happened to the shed. In the shed where the twins and Thomason were. Thomason's like passed out, like halfway through the opening of the shed. The whole half of the like shed is just gone. The goats are like in half, strewn about, and the twins are nowhere to be found. But their clothes are right next to Thomason. And so William just about had it. Starts approaching Thomason, and then guess who it is?
Black Phillip.
Our main nibba, Black Phillip comes up and just gores him right in the stomach.
Just play of the game.
And then William, who was just about had just bad enough, grabs the axe right next to the firewood and is about to kill Black Phillip, and then
like,
realizes, no, I'm going to die. There's no way I'm going to survive. And then so Black Phillip bunts him again, just like headbutts him into the woodpile, and then he dies because the woodpile just like kills him, and he probably bleeds out.
Yep.
So Thomason is just freaking out because she just woke up and saw this. So the twins are dead, her dad's dead, it's just her and her bewitched mother. The mother comes out, spitting all kinds of fire at her, calling her a slut, and how she seduced her brother Caleb and got him killed, and how she's really the witch, and so her mother just starts strangling her. And so she picks up the random garden tool, which may or may not have been her father's knife that was dropped whenever he got gored. And cuts real deep, gives her the old Zorro scar on the face. And that just makes her mom angrier. And so then she does the only thing a good child would and repeatedly stabs her mother so she doesn't kill her. And so after this, all said and done, she takes off her corset and just sits and naps at the dinner table. So she wakes up, it's dead of night, she goes out to the barn, she finds Black Phillip. And so she starts talking to Black Phillip, saying, if you're really the devil, hear my plea, I'm trying to make contact with you. Let me know if you understand my English tongue. And then we hear Black Phillip's gorgeous voice. Because he really is the devil. And he helps her sign his book. And leads her out, as Black Phillip again, leads her out naked into the forest, where we see a whole bunch of other
hippies.
Young women who some may or may not be Indian. I couldn't tell. Some looked a little native, and they're all dancing around the fire. Did some sort of ceremonial dance, and you're just seeing Thomason slowly approach. And then they're chanting something in Latin, or possibly Mesopotamian, whatever it is, old, maybe Babylonian. I'm not too sure. Something old and dead, because they keep repeating some phrases, and then they start ascending. the women around the fire start ascending. And then Thomason reaches the fire, watches them ascend, and then she starts ascending. And then she has this weird, awkward smile on her face. And she ascends, and roll credits. So John, give us some jokes. I've been dying to hear them.
Alright, I'll try to get through these as fast as possible. So here's how I was going to start off the review. Hi, glad you could join us for this review today. We're going to start off with a nice new canvas coated with some liquid white. The colors we'll be using today are fake blood red, white as a dove actor white, some billy goat black, and finally desert dry yellow for all those dying crops. So shoot, let's get into the review today. We'll use a 2-inch brush to write this script, so let's begin. So what feels like after 10 minutes of a whole, just cast being shown and them talking there about how they're losing the faith in the Lord, we open with, of course, that guy William there, who I couldn't fucking understand because it sounded like it was Dr. Claw telling a bedtime story. So,
Oh yes, I did put on the subtitles.
Oh, I didn't even know there were subtitles, so I was just there like, excuse me? Can you speak up a little? So, he's just there like, Once upon a time, there were 3 pigs Skagit. Then, of course, they get to that point where they're kind of like kneeling down towards the woods there, and they're like hailing the treants or some shit. I mean, obviously, you know, they're praying to the god, but that's what it looked like. It looked like they're praying the fucking treants to, you know, help with the fight for Mordor or something. So then we get to the point where she's playing peekaboo. So remember, ladies, peekaboo is all fun and games until a witch steals your child while you're covering your stupid face with your hands, and then it goes up shit creek.
And then use the sunblock.
Yeah. And by that point, you know, like, this is a joke. I really didn't find their acting bad, but, you know, it was super early in the morning. I might as well have been drunk off my ass at that point while watching. And I just put down, was gonna say, hey, at least the acting's better than a porn, so at least we're not watching one of those. But then we get to the woods, and then everyone's nude. Watch out, ladies, for Johnny the Woodsman.
Oh, it's only soft nipples. Come on.
Oh yeah, there was that part where Caleb and William were in the woods, and you knew shit was happening because there was that nice off-tune violin that was signaling danger. So, him.
You know, a funny thing about the horror cues, you know, is that a lot of times they really snuck up on you. Like, I didn't realize it until the event was happening that there was that violin in the background. Yeah. They played that really well. The soundtrack was really good.
As a music person, I noticed.
Well, usually I'm really on top of that, but like the story just sucked me in so much that like I wouldn't notice until the event was happening, you know.
Yeah. Plus, like I said, it was the first thing in the morning. I was just like, music to my ears. So, William and Caleb are having a little heart-to-heart, dad-to-son talk, you know, where William was pretty much like, listen, Caleb, don't forget, believe in the gods, not the gods who believe in me, not the gods who believe in you. Believe in the gods who believe in themselves. Heroes never die, they just get kit changes, and you have to actually learn how to play with skill. I understand it's hard for you to actually have to play Mercy now, Caleb, but you must believe in the gods and learn how not to be a scrub. So they had a nice father-son moment of believe in the gods to, get good. and then, like, as soon as I fought up that goddamn Mercy joke, I find out that the fucking child's name is Mercy.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, oh god. Like, really? Oh yeah, then there was the scene where the kids were playing with the goat, and then the dad had to wrestle the goat there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so,
get it back in.
Of course, I was watching MXC, and this is where I added this shit. So I had a very convincing goat fight in there by Vane Helzen Belmont. Grabbed him right by the head and just kept tugging and tugging, but the goat just won't come. Kenny. Let's see, what else next? Oh yeah, so there he was chopping the wood, and he was actually splitting stuff right down the middle. But then it came to the one where he didn't one-chop it, like One Punch Man, not one-punching something, so they had to cut away. Like, that wasn't one chop. Gotta do this quick pan. Oh yeah, then we come to the part where the sister's trying to be creepy there. So for that I had down, come hither, it's time for another advanced role-playing of Dungeons & Dragons. And I am the Wicked Witch of the Woods. My intelligence is a mighty 19. My strength, not so good. My charisma is unmatched. My spells, both powerful and used for utility for being in dungeons. My character's rolls natural 20s as if she was a god herself. And Lord help you, dear sister, if you tell mother and father about this, I will PvP your pathetic level 5 character. Do you understand me? Well, let's go down to the captain and see the reaction. Who here thinks that saying that you're the witch of the wicked woods and slapping your sister around makes you scary? Makes you seem scary. Show of hands. Now. Hey! Well, you're wrong. She doesn't sound scary. She just looks like she's an annoying bitch. Oh, you look like... Or, ma'am, you look like you have the face of a dog. What do you have to say about this? My mom says I'm pretty. Of course she does. Let's go! Oh yeah, then we get to the point where you guys were talking about the William and the wife there were having kind of like the serious conversations about who was going where in their whole living situation. So it's like, oh yeah, here we go. It's the close-ups on this very serious scene. They hate where they're living, and oh god damn it, guys, she's falling asleep again. It's actually past her bedtime. Because the main actress looked like she was falling asleep in that goddamn, like, pan shot that they showed of her. Like, she was supposed to look sad, but to me it just looked like she was falling asleep. Oh, God. Oh, why'd I write this? Okay, so, we get to the point where, Caleb went missing, right? I don't know why I didn't write anything else up to that point. Like I said, it was a day, and so they came up to the woods and they kept saying, "Caleb, where are you?" So I put, "Nani, Caleb-kun, ima doku ni inru no," which is just like, "Caleb, where are you?" But of course, I had to be all weeb about it. Like weeb in Scottish because I thought he was Scottish for some reason. Yeah. Okay, so there was the whole rabbit thing going on and Caleb following off into the woods. Excuse me. And his sister getting punch drunk there off the horse. I had a little one too many. So I had that point where the woman came out. I was just like, oh no, scary witch, everybody. Oh, and now she's approaching a young boy, a woman in her 30s, maybe 40s. I don't like where this is going. And then she started to lean in to kiss him, and I was like, what? Stranger danger, bad touch! Yeah, and then I pointed out, I was like, man, I need fucking subtitles for Van Helsing here, because I can't understand them. I really couldn't. So all the stuff that you're like explaining that he was actually saying, I was like, really? He said that? Because all I heard was...
John, you should know by now that I always put on the subtitles. Doesn't matter if it's in English or not.
Well... I hate to say, as a true otaku, I watch things without subtitles. Yeah, and then that part came up where Caleb was naked there. I was just like, oh no, it's the dreaded witch's power of taking off your clothes while it's raining outside and sending you home. Oh dear God. So the father, he's just there like, God damn you, does your evil know no shame? I call vengeance upon you. Vengeance! Or I'll just go chop some more wood. Plus, there was that fucking scene where the goat like tilted his head, like when they were talking about him. I was like, that's a fucking meme gif right there. Like someone would see that and then just turn that into a meme. Then there was Caleb, he got the plague or whatever the hell it was.
He got SIDS.
And the mom was going like ape shit. She's saying, this has to be a plague. Witchcraft, or it has to be witchcraft. There's nothing else it could be. We live on a dirty farm. This is the days of the medieval times. The air is clear. The water's pure. The ground's so lively here. There's no way, absolutely not, that it can't be anything except for magic. Isn't that right, Mr. Rat? Because in those times, the plague was a big thing. And this is what happens when I wake up super early and have to watch a movie. Oh yeah, then you got to the point where they're saying the prayers. So basically, the moral of the story there was, if you take the parappa the rapper way and just, you gotta believe you can get rid of a plague, I guess. Because all you gotta do is believe and pray to the gods. So the people start dying. Then we get to the point where William's talking to the daughter there. Then at this point, I really don't know what happened to my brain. But I suddenly said I should do a Dragon Ball Z voice for this. So, now with most of the family lost, it's time for the Belmonts to slay the Witch of the Woods and scatter her body parts around the town later to collect the body parts once again and revive her, to then slay her once again in another series of Castlevania. Because, you know, putting Dracula back together was such a great idea.
Yes, it was.
So I might as well do that for the witch. Oh my, I can't even remember what this must have been like for the goat or something. Because I have, it's time for the top 10 anime battles from Watch Mojo. Oh, now this one's the part where William was like yelling at the friggin' twins because they wouldn't wake up. So he's like pounding on their fucking bed and like shaking their dead legs. He's like, did the black dirt whisper the devil's language to you? Did he promise you a Vaporeon on Pokemon Go? Well, did he? Answer me! Oh, great Lord Bob Ross, save these cursed children. Which leads me to the next joke. Well, these are just hidden every time. Home runs, each one of them. So I had, well, it's time for my favorite part of the show, where we dip our brushes in and we just beat the devil out of them. Now, we're gonna paint a nice wooden prison for your demonic children right here. Remember, it's your John, so this could be anywheres you want. Just don't let those little devils out, of course. Maybe we'll add some happy little trees to the scenery, and maybe give them a few friends, since nobody wants to be alone. You don't have to put trees, it's your world. You decide where it goes. Oh yeah, then, like you mentioned, there was that weird part where, you know, the wife gets up from bed, she sees the kids, and it's like, oh look, it's my dead ghost children, better go hug them.
Yeah, better not be suspicious whatsoever.
That's right, it's totally not a trap card. It's totally not illusionist faceless mage. Which then led me to a Yu-Gi-Oh joke, of course. So, the witch used her spell brain control, which upon the mother I cast change of heart. Oh yeah, then that's when I mentioned to you guys, is like, the fucking goat comes out of nowhere and slams William. So man, his ultimate was ready and he was just like, hammer down! Because Reinhardt, or not like Reinhardt. So of course I would use his ult. So of course, you know, the witch was controlling Mommy Deer with magic. But of course, her spells were no match for her knife. And as you guys mentioned, there was nice goat ASMR.
Yeah.
It was like, except it was actually talking language. It was more like, you want some cookies? I got some really good cookies. Just sign up with the devil. It's really good cookies, I promise. So she did. And then, of course, because the young girl, which we don't fully know her age, got nude, I'm pretty sure the cops were knocking down our doors any minute there.
Oh well, John. Funny you should talk about that. The actor's legal age is actually she just turned 21 this year.
There you go.
Oh, and that younger witch you were talking about also,
Mhm.
she's only 26.
The joke works better when it's 30 or 40.
Oh, come on, she didn't look 30 or 40. They couldn't hide wrinkles like they can today.
Listen, when you wake up at 7 in the morning, everything looks old to you.
I'm sure.
Because your eyes are only half open. I was watching this, I was almost like Brock from Pokemon. I had some like lines that I can make out. That's why, I should have put here, time for some jelly-filled donuts. Actually, that's what I should have had that morning. God damn it, now I'm getting hungry. Stop.
It's okay to be hungry, it's natural.
Oh, yeah, and then that flying part was just really weird, because it's like the way they must have like written it was like, quick, we bought wires, we gotta make them look like they're flying. Sir, witches don't normally fly.
Well, as you read at the end of the film, it was based on like real literature from the time, supposed witchcraft, and loosely based on events that may or may not have happened, journals and such like that. And so that was a big thing back then. Like I mentioned with the crucible, dancing naked around the fire, trying to get the devil to take you away. And so that was a big superstition about witches at that point in time that we don't carry on today. And so that's why I said, a lot of, because of the mixed reviews online about this, because a lot of people don't understand that this is more of a history thriller than it is anything else. A lot of people will get confused, and a lot of the simpler audience will not, understand or try to understand, so to speak.
I just thought it was a Miyazaki moment where they're being like,
that's what Spirited Away started.
Yeah, where it was like, shh, you'll be cool, just shh. I saw it in Berserk once.
You got the reverse Laputa in the sky.
So, and then obviously the way that would have been written, he'd just be like, yeah, okay, whatever, we'll do it. Whatever makes you happy, Lord Miyazaki.
Well, I don't think it was a bad ending either.
No, I'm not saying it was.
Ending. No, I know, but I mean just to clarify.
Like I said, I made shitty jokes at like 7 in the morning, so I just put what came to mind.
But compared to a lot of horror films, that was actually a pretty good ending.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty shitty horror endings. But then again, a lot of times when I'm watching horror movies, it's like the old ones, like Bela Lugosi and all of them. Old school.
Oh, yeah, the classics.
Yeah, the classics, pretty much.
Back in the golden age.
And then, obviously the Friday 13th and that. So, yeah, I finished off by just saying, let's go to the credits now and sign our signature to show that our homework was done and was watched. And this is how I was going to end, like, our full thing before we started to rate it, I guess. I hope you give this one a try. See, I even said so. Give it a try. I hope you give this one a try, and you may enjoy it. Just let us know in the comments what you thought of the movie, because, I mean, we would actually like to see people comment if they don't mind. And from all of us here at the SAF podcast, I'd like to wish you a happy watching, and God bless, my friends.
Well, since you're already in a roll, John, how would you rate this film, and would you recommend it?
I gave it a goat head tilt controls out of a Pray to the Lord Edgelord the Hedgehog.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, I'd say it's pretty good. Give it a watch. See if you like it. Just don't wake up at 7 in the morning squinting like you're Brock from Pokemon trying to make, every little thing out and put subtitles on.
Uh-huh.
Yes, that is a very important. I can make out most of the words because I was wearing headphones while I was watching it, which also helped.
Otherwise, you'd just be like, "Nani desu ka?"
But so Sterling, how would you rate this, and would you recommend it?
All right. Well, I'm gonna rate it a little bit differently. I'll say about
Tilted goat heads?
2/3 of the way in, I'd say that this is probably an 8 on 10, and then the last third is probably like 6.7 out of 10. Altogether, I'd say like a 7 on 10, most likely. But like pretty much like acting is top notch. The soundtrack is like godlike. Cinematography, choreography, time period, everything that like is in that category, A+.
All set pieces, yeah.
But like when push comes to shove, and it goes into the writing area of where like everything goes downhill, like figuratively and literally in the household of the family, like I think they kind of just like, well, I mean, we don't have anything else more to do, so let's just get this over with quickly. But I very much like the feel and tone of it. Like it was pretty top notch until like that part, but everything else was just like, yep, yeah, yes, and yeah. I'd recommend it for those wanting more than just a horror schlock thing, because if that's what you want, fine, that's cool, but don't be expecting this to be what you want it to be in that realm. This is pretty much like a thriller, the same way as like The Shining was, but like very methodical and stuff like that. If you have the time to take out of your day for an hour-and-a-half movie about some Christians dealing with witches, then there you go. There it is. So yeah, that's basically what I have. That's me. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna rate it a little bit higher than yours because I like the ending and liked it more than I thought I was gonna like it. Let me put it that way. It could have been better, but it wasn't bad in any way, shape, or form. Like you said, the ending did feel a little bit rushed, but I mean, I'd give it a light 8 overall, especially for a horror film or a horror thriller. However you want to label it. I don't believe in labels. It's very high up there, especially for the budget that they had. This movie only was $3.5 million to make. And it made that back double an opening weekend. In fact, the gross, I have the figures up here, was $25 million gross, and that's only domestic. That's not even counting England. Let me see what else. What what's the full score here? Oh wow, okay, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it did very well internationally, here and over in Europe, and so for what they did and what they had, I mean, obviously it's not a huge horror blockbuster or anything like that, and like you said, there's two categories: there's more serious horror, then there's the schlock, and you have the great elements of both, but you don't really ever want to mix them too heavily. And so this obviously fell on the more serious side, which hasn't been done right very recently.
This is true.
And so we've mostly been falling back into schlocky stuff because it sells better.
Gotta get the millennials.
In the grand scheme of things. And so, but no, like I said, I give it a light 8, like an 8.1, 8.2. Just because it is a lot better than I thought it would be walking in. I knew it would be good, seeing as Red Letter Media unanimously gave it the best film that they had seen in 2016. But I mean, that's not saying much. 2016 wasn't a great year for movies. But this was definitely a stunner for such a low-budget film with a very limited cast. Like you said, they had great tones, meshed very well. I was just very satisfied with the product. I didn't fall asleep. The pacing was slow at some points, but very good. It definitely had the build-up at the end. And like you said, it may have been a little bit rushed. But all in all, this movie kept me very well engaged, so much that I didn't even get my phone out while I was watching it. Which says something, because usually with these thrillers, what I do is, I either jump to the end, because I know exactly what's going to happen, or, and with this, I've caught myself wanting to do that, but I'm like, no, savor these parts, savor this great acting. Because usually the acting is, I don't really care about the acting unless it's like really, really, really good. And so then I'll just skip to the end because I'm like, oh, okay, I can see where the plot's going. Let's see how they tie the knot.
Yeah.
And this time I held back and I said, no, this is really good acting. I should just go sit through the slow parts and see what happens. And I was thankfully rewarded and surprised. So. And I would definitely recommend this to anybody who has,
Taste.
Or at least the decent knowledge of the 1600s. Because I mean, that's the thing is that people you see a lot. I was reading some of these reviews while we were doing that synopsis, and a lot of people were like, I don't get it, or oh, this is just such a big Christian piece, or blah 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 blah, and I'm like. This is the 1600s. The only people who came over were Quakers. Like, they were escaping the church from England because they wanted to be... they wanted to practice the religion the way they wanted to. Yes, of course, they're gonna... There's nothing else in their life besides daily work and religion. Like... I can't tell you how many reviews I saw like that. It was like, it seems really preachy, and I'm like, Dodoy!
Wow.
Like, do you understand this wasn't made in 2006? Like, this wasn't made in the timeline of 2006? Like,
Yeah.
But, and then there's a lot of people drawing feminist cues from it, and I'm like, it has nothing to do with feminism. It's like, that's why she survived, because she was the only one who was, and I'm just like, oh, please shoot me in the face. Like, yes, it's, it was a story about adolescence as well in the setting. There was a mild plot line like that, but it's not the main. Gosh, some people, man, it's all gotta be politics. Can't just watch a witch movie.
Yep.
But and a lot of people, this is like the big debut for the children, for almost all the children actors. The guy who played William, Ralph Ineson. I don't know how you pronounce his name. We'll call him Ralph though. Ralph, he's actually the number 2 guy on Guardians of the Galaxy. I forget the blue guy's name, but Star-Lord's like adopted father.
Oh.
And he plays that like the right hand man to him. So I didn't notice him because he usually has much shorter hair in those films. But I mean, besides that, that's the only, like, he's been on TV. A lot of these people were on TV before, and this is like their first movie break. But the mother and the father had been in movies before, but just a couple. So I'm glad to see some fresh faces, you know, especially with such a low budget film. The girl who played Thomason was actually the highest paid actor on the film.
Oh, good.
Of course, she had most of the lines and went on to bigger and better things. She's actually about to be on the Marvel Inhumans show as one of the Inhumans as well. I looked up that, so. But all in all, I like the movie. # Team Black Phillip. And all right. Well, what are you boys looking forward to?
Well, I'm looking forward to continuing my classes, drawing some more, finishing drawing up some stuff for this and for other things abroad, and that's pretty much about it. I'm not really looking forward to anything. Maybe finishing Hunter x Hunter like this week, and Yawada sometime in the near future, because that one's like the fam-centric. So yeah. That's me. John, how about you? What are you looking forward to?
Hopefully I'll get a call back from some places I applied to for work.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Where at?
Grocery store and a drugstore.
Huh.
Not the most exciting places, but hell, here where I live, it's the best you can get right now. At least with the amount of unemployment I've had over the years. Just the way life's led me so far, but right now at least I have months to work on my health, so I'm also hyped to see if I can step up my workout regimen any. It's going to become harder, obviously, the closer I get to winter.
Cool.
But then I'll have all that
You
snow
gotta bulk
shoveling.
up for your hibernation. Gotta get some gains.
Yeah. I look forward to the characters coming out in Injustice 2 and leveling them up, seeing how they play. Then, of course, finishing X-Aid, seeing how they decide to actually end it, because that will be the deciding factor of what my final score for X-Aid will be. Which means I might actually have to wait for a movie to be subtitled and come out. So we'll actually be like, I don't know, maybe 5 episodes into build by then, before I can see the actual ending. Unless I'm going to fly all the way out to Japan to watch the actual movie unsubtitled. But I mean, I watched the Pac-Man movie unsubtitled and I could tell what was going on there, so we'll see. Dungeons and Dragons, I actually start up again next week, I believe. So I'll be having fun with that. We all leveled up, and my warlock is becoming more and more like Dio Brando every day. So yeah, just workout stuff, some shows, and Dungeons and Dragons, really. What about you, Josiah? What's on your schedule?
Well, I'm hoping that new Star Wars is going to be garbage. It's coming up here in a couple months.
Oh yeah.
I will soon be making the trek up to Canada up here in October. Unfortunately, it won't be anywhere near where you are, John. But
Oh, you don't want to. You don't want to come here
visiting,
anyways. We got a fucking. We got a mall. And a mall. Every now and then we might have some thing going on here, but unless you want to watch like a university hockey team or I don't know, some folk bands, like Fredericton's really pretty lame. But it's a nice quiet place, that's why we live here.
I'll be heading up to Mississauga and then Ontario to see Matthew Ferrugia and Tim Buffman. And we will meet and do maybe 1 or 2 podcasts at that time. Locally recorded for the first time.
Enjoy the cold.
And maybe the last time. Oh yeah, speaking of Matthew Ferrugia, the thing that reminded me of him most in The Witch was the brother wanting to feel up the sister, because that's something Matt would do. Okay, there's our Matthew insult of the week. But besides that, there's nothing really on my radar. I'm hoping One Punch Man 2 comes out soon.
We've all been hoping for that.
Because it's been 2 freaking years.
Yeah, where's my Moomin Rider?
Yeah.
Come on, Bones. I know you're not that busy. I mean, because they have a good 3 or 4 seasons already in the manga already. It's not like you're waiting on anything. Unless you just want to make it a continuous series, which I would kind of be opposed to, because then the animation would drop.
Yeah.
But although it's already really popular, so I don't know. I just hope they don't. I hope they kind of just EPO it. Except for I need new EPO soon, like really soon. It's been like 3 years already since the last one, Rising.
Came out in like 2013 or 14.
It was 14. It was when I was out of college, so yeah, it was either 14 or early 15. I can't remember. But yeah, so we need new EPO. We need more One Punch Man. I can wait for Mob Psycho 100. You can take all the time on that. I'll be waiting here all the same. Because I know it'll be good. But besides that, there's nothing. I mean, games, of course, looking out for that new Pokemon Moon, Pokemon Sun, changing up everything. And need to pre-order that so I can get the plush keychain. So I could show my my Rowlet support. Because Poplio is garbage.
Yes.
Confirmed. Litten's alright.
Basic, but okay.
Hey, Fire Dark type that has fighting moves is pretty cool. They tried. They really tried. I wish it would have stayed feral, though. I hate that it stands up.
Yeah.
It would have been nice to have a fire starter that stayed feral and on all 4 legs. You know? I mean, even Embor, like, why is it on 2 legs? Why the pig start on 4 legs have to end up on 2 legs? That one doesn't even make any sense. But I mean, even in the anime, Typhlosia was on 4 legs like most of the time. But there's my beef. There's my beef. Okay, will you count us out?
I have one last thing to say.
Oh.
Because of a certain someone's birthday that's going to be coming out before we release this.
Oh my god.
This final drink of night for me is for you, Matt.
Oh.
Congratulations. I'm probably going to pass out or die. It's your fault. So, cheers, fucker.
Happy birthday!
Alright, that's it, I'm done. Oh god. It's nap time for the father of all fire giants.
That's right, young Matthew. I forgot. I was so busy working in that insult, I forgot that it's Matthew's birthday on the 28th.
You're a year
So-
closer to death, Matthew.
Hey, that's something to celebrate. Another one.
One more year closer to
Stay
dying.
beautiful.
Alright, John,
Yes,
you've been watching MXC. Will you count us out?
Sure. So, what do we always say?
Don't get
Eliminated! Goodbye.